uh, welcome, Dreadlight. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. As always, I appreciate it. Yeah, you know, in the military, we used to have a saying um, that sergeants would drop on the enlisted guys. It was always, if you're 10 minutes early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. If you're late, you're effed. And that's kind of how I've always lived my life when it comes to appointments and that sort of stuff. But I don't expect anyone to be here early. I'm just happy anyone's here at all. So thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. No worries, no worries. Like I say, I just thank my community for being here for as much or as little as they want to be. It's always fun being able to interact with my community here. So I appreciate any support. Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone, to today's live stream, episode number 4 of our Elite Dangerous New Adventure playthrough series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, admin notes. We had another update today. I'm going to swap over here. We had update 3 to operations. I told you last week, just don't play operations. We went through this on patch day, the week before that, and I said don't ever play on patch day. And then last week I said just don't play operations because it's a buggy mess, and it's turning into exactly that. And today's update was meant to resolve some of the more pressing issues, not just with operations, but that the update in general caused, even to non-operations players. But a lot of it is focused around operations. But one of the big things was that there were certain players that after the July 2nd maintenance update lost all of their exploration data that was unsold. Now it's been restored, and can be sold as normal. And as part of that, Frontier has said that if your local visited star list is not populated, to go ahead and go into the help and info tab on the start menu and go to resync local data. It's going to compile a download. I just did this a little bit ago, 20 minutes ago. It'll start a download that may take a few minutes for it to compile, and then you can download it, and it will update that information inside your game. But the exploration data has now been restored, and you can sell it as normal. So we're going to get a little bit more money than expected out of our road to riches that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. And here is the resync local data button to restore that visited star data cache file on your account. So one of the big things with operations is that sometimes rewards would not be given out at all. Sometimes rewards would be given out, but the reward screen was completely blank. You can see this in some of the content creators playing operations and what happens with it. And a lot of that has now been corrected. Not that you're 100% guaranteed to get rewards all of the time, but supposedly the overwhelming vast majority of these issues have been corrected. The rewards that you did not get previously are going to be retroactively given to you at some point in the future. They haven't said when or how that's going to be done, but if you didn't get rewards from it, you will be granted those at a later date. And there are bug fixes that went around that. Here's the reward screen could appear empty despite successfully distributing the awards. So like I said, they've done a bunch of improvements to operations. I'm still going nowhere near it. I'm going to give this at least another 2 to 3 weeks before I even delve into it. I'm just not trusting that everything is fully worked out yet, and I'm going to let the player base beta test this, which is what's happening. We're beta testing this as we go along here. So I'm going to give it a little bit more time before I jump into it, but like I say, feel free, just don't get angry at it if something unexpected happens, because you've been fully warned by me on multiple occasions about some of the issues with it. But Frontier is making a concerted effort to correct any issues, and we'll just kind of see how it goes along. As if we're going to have any more updates, well, they've already said that there's going to be some future improvements. They're dealing with the telegraphing stuff right now within outfitting and the ship's internal panel. But there's going to be some slight changes and balances and that sort of stuff in future updates as we go through operations. So just be aware of it. But the other things that got affected by it, for some reason, the Scarab SRV, the wheels could disappear. There are some really interesting pictures of the Scarab out there. You're still able to drive, but the visual aspects are just a little bit messed up. I've experienced this crash here. While I'm in the middle of a hyperspace jump, I like to do other things, and one of them is checking my power play leaderboard. And I've had this crash happen. It's given it to me a few times. They say they've now fixed that. They fixed some aesthetic things with the Nomad fighter bay, clipping through the Nomad itself when you're launching and docking. And then fighter bay doors could clip through support pistons, and their main ramp could appear misaligned. So there have been some other issues with the Nomad and with the game in general that popped up after that maintenance update. So like I say, they are keeping an eye on it. They are attempting to work through it as best they can. So I say, I'm avoiding operations for now, but if you want to, it is in the game, and they're working to improve it. So I think that's it on admin notes. And Sashura, welcome. Good to see you again. Thank you for being here. Yeah, and what you just mentioned is one of those things that they mentioned as an outstanding issue during the last update, on update 2, with people just not being picked up after operations were done. So again, you can check the forums and go through all the outstanding issues that are there and see if it's something that you want to play or if you want to wait. But yeah, it is one of those things that's going to be ongoing. And thank you again for being here. I always certainly appreciate it. So on our recap, last week we had embarked on the road to riches. That was the last half of the episode last week. And I said I wasn't going to do the entire road to riches. Well, I just got really caught up in it. And I did do the entire road to riches. So I also did some other things. So let's jump in here real quick. And I'm going to be in solo play. Open play is a DC mess right now. And by DC, I mean disconnect. It is a mess for me right now. For whatever reason that is. The disconnects, Orange Sidewinder, Mauve Adder, all the different disconnect codes are coming hot and heavy in open play. I don't completely get rid of them in solo play, but they are very, very minimized when I'm in solo play. So I'm going to be playing in solo play today. Like I've told you before, don't think this is a thing that happens every time. Today I would actually probably be in solo play anyway, based upon what we're going to be going to do. But for now, it's a much more stable experience. We'll have to see if we get any DCs today or not. So let's kind of jump in here and we'll load through the game. And we'll talk about what I did off stream. Some of it I briefly mentioned, but is a little bit crazy. So I mentioned at the very end of last week's episode about the community goal that was going on last week, and you can see it is completed. So let's go to Inara here, and we'll look at the community goal. So this was the community goal. It was to turn in exobiology information, and some of that genetic information that you got from a particular location in the galaxy, the Sanguineous Rim, was going to be a 1.5 price multiplier. I wasn't entirely sure at the end of last week's episode because it was the first day of the server wipe or the server reset, what the payouts were going to be. When the payouts popped up, I immediately signed up for the community goal. 1 to 2 pieces of information got you 45 million, but only having to do 3 samples got you 100 million, and these are approximate. That's why there's an approximation sign there, because not every player syncs their information to Inara. I do, but not everybody does. So I went out and I picked up 4 or 5, I think, samples on this character here and turned them in. And I'm going to check we're going to check the results here in a second. But I'm pretty sure this is going to allow me to turn in and get 100 million credits for that. Now, this was a whole thing. And I'll show you why. Because the community goal 232819, I think. Oh, sorry, it's not HIP, it's HD. Okay, look at where that system is. It is 1,800 light years from my home system in the bubble. Now, my ship goes about 38 light years per jump. So it took me 52 jumps to get out there. I did what I needed to do out there, and then it took me 53 jumps to get back. There are a lot of non-scoopable stars in here. So with my short jump range, I had to modify my route quite a bit off of the computer generated route to be able to refuel during that traverse, because there are no stations out here in that gap there. So it was a thing to get out there. It took me about an hour each way, just jumping to and from the system. When I did, it took me about an hour to gather those samples total. Well, about 40 minutes to gather those samples, and then come back. So it was a 2.5 to 3 hour process to get out there and back. But for 100 million credits, you're not going to pass up 100 million credits for a couple hours work. But what it really drove home is that I need to start working to improve the jump range on my ship. And that is kind of what led me into today's episode and what we're going to be doing. But first, let's check our mail here. So we did get some power play rewards, and I got another 50 million credits for that. I was 70th amongst all the Yong-Rui agents last week, and I got 50 million credits. And we've got some new assignments this week. But what came along with that increase in rank? So let's go to power play, and we'll look and see what our loyalty is. And right now we're ranked 22. I spent some time running some merits to rank up to level 22, because as you can see, the rewards, that's going to get us 40% bonus to our exploration data cells. I was at 30%. I'm now at 40%, so we're going to go sell our exploration data from Road to Riches, and we're going to get a 40% bonus on top of the normal sales, as long as we sell it somewhere that's controlled by our power. Okay? So here is my Google spreadsheet of my Road to Riches explorations. I went to every one of these systems, every one of these worlds. I scanned it and I mapped it. And I got efficiency bonuses for all except for 6 of these. And if we look down here at the bottom, there were 295 worlds. Everyone's going to ask, how long did this take? It took about a little bit under 12 hours. Every 50 worlds takes about 2 hours to do. Between flying to the system, scanning with the FSS, and then flying out to the world and DSSing those worlds, it takes about 2 hours for every 50 worlds. That will give you an idea about how much time you're going to be investing on the Road to Riches. Now, I have a bonus here because I have the Supercharge or Super Cruise Overcharge drive. You're definitely going to need that. Some of these worlds are quite a ways out there, like 48,000 light seconds from the star. So that would take you, 20 minutes to get out there on your own, or 15 minutes to get out there on your own. The SCO drive cuts that down to like a minute and a half. So this could take substantially longer if you do not invest in an SCO drive first. So that was part of the outfitting that we talked about, so make sure you do it. So just scanning the worlds was going to get me 50 million here. Mapping the worlds was going to get me 184 million. Now that does not include the efficiency bonus, which I believe is another 10%. It's been a long time since I've done this, so I'm not entirely sure how much the efficiency bonus adds to it. And honestly, I forgot to go look beforehand. I'm sure it's in the wiki somewhere. So I'm definitely going to get more than this. And then I'm going to be getting that plus 40% when I sell this data at a system controlled by my power. And that's what we're going to go do right now, so we can turn this in. Now, I have scouted out where I want to sell this. So if I go to Power Play and I just toggle his worlds here. Oh, yep, sorry. Not contested in expansion. We need... Okay. So these are the worlds that he currently controls. Okay. Now I want to be a little bit strategic about this. Because there's something I briefly talked about called system permits. Some systems are locked, and you can't fly to it until you improve your reputation with the faction that controls that system. And to do that, you have to, since you can't get into that system, you have to find star systems that are nearby that system also, that faction also controls, and do missions or up your reputation with them somehow. And one of them that is locked is Sirius. Okay, this is the home, the faction home for Li Yong-Rui. This is where the Sirius Corporation is based out of, but it's permit locked. So if I hold to plot a route, it's going to give me an error. Okay, that error is not because I have insufficient jump range, it's because that system is permit locked and I can't get to it. Okay, so I need to, coincidentally, I'm going to be turning in my exploration data in Li Yong-Rui systems. So I'm going to try and find a system that also has the Sirius Corporation faction in it, and furthermore is controlling that star system. So when I go turn my exploration data in, I'm going to be increasing my reputation with that faction, and hence unlocking the Sirius permit So I'll be able to get into that system. And I've already scouted out Moriarty Enterprise. Moriarty Enterprise is here in the Tashitter sector. And if we go back to Inara, see how good my spelling is. So this is the Moriarty Enterprise that we're going to right here. So if I look at it, it's in the Tashitter sector here. Okay. But the minor faction out here is the Sirius Corporation. That's who I'm looking for. So if I up my rep in the system here with the Sirius Corporation, it's going to help unlock the Sirius system. This is also a Li Yong-Rui power, so I can go sell here at that station and get my bonus. So we've plotted our route over here, so let's head out. And we'll go take a look and see how well we're going to do off of the road to riches. I think you're going to be a little surprised at what our final numbers are.
Ship is released. Regulate your speed until free of station perimeter.
Alright, so we'll boost away from the station, and it's just going to be one jump to get me over there.
Frameshift drive charging.
Clear of the station limits. Have a good fight, Commander.
And yes, Cheryl, it was one of those things that when I saw the payouts come up, it was one of those things where, yeah, I'll spend an hour to get out there for and an hour to get back for the 100 million credits. Okay, so here's Moriarty. We're facing away from it. We're coming in the back side of the station. I don't want to do that, especially with these Coriolis stations. So I'm going to loop around it here while we're making our approach. And try and get better lined up at toward the front of it. And there we go, we're blue on the speed.
Permission is required before docking procedures can begin, Commander. Permission granted. Set course for landing pad 4-5.
Okay, so we're looking for 4-5 right there in front of us. Now, one thing that I have not mentioned about exploration data is that I made that trip out to the community goal system. It was way out in the middle of nowhere. And if I would have run out of fuel and died or something like that, exploration data disappears when you die. Or when your ship gets blown up or dies. If you're on foot, that's not the case, but if you die in your ship, then all your ship's data banks are lost and all that exploration data is gone. I did the Road to Riches really early after our live stream last time. Over the next 3 days, I think, I just knocked it out. And it was a little bit nerve-wracking carrying all of this data with me all the way out there and back. So keep that in the back of your mind that you might not want to do what I did. I'm very familiar with the different stars I'm going to be working through and how to avoid neutron stars and things like that that might get me killed. So just be aware of that, that if you die in your ship, you're going to lose your exploration data. So be a little careful when you're landing and when you're taking off from stations if you're not very familiar with how they work, because if you crash and you die, all of that's gone. So let's take a look at our starport services here. We see that this is a Yong-Rui control system. We can see that the Sirius Corporation is the one in control, the faction in control of this system. So let's go to Universal Cartographics. So we have 10 pages of data here. Now this is not just from the Road to Riches. I haven't sold any exploration data at all. So this is going to include every system I've ever been in that I've honked, that I've gotten close enough to a system, to a planet, to scan it, and all that sort of stuff. So don't think that this 80 million credits for the first page here is going to be representative of all 10 pages. But you see we're getting our plus 40% payout here, and right now we're at 192 million credits. So keep an eye on that as we go through this. Now I'm going to kind of jump forward here because I want to start. This is the newest stuff on the pages at the front. So I'm going to move all the way to the back and start selling the lower credit pages first. Because I'm going to keep an eye on my reputation as well while I'm here. You'll see now we're down to 12 million per page. That one's back up to 40. But once we get past the Road to Riches, the numbers should drop off a little bit more. Yeah, see, now we're down to 8. Because these I didn't go map any of the planets, and I didn't scan many planets. All I did was honk the systems when we came in. So there's 340,000 credits. So you can see we drop off pretty significantly when all you do is come into a system and honk it while you're there. So let's go ahead and we'll sell this page.
Incoming message.
Okay, now the first thing that you see is I'm selling exploration data. The green box that popped up was my exploration rank. Your rank in exploration goes up based upon the credit value of the exploration data that you sell. So this boost is helping us progress in those ranks faster as well.
Incoming message.
So our explorer rank continues to go up.
Incoming message.
So you see we're getting merits. Now, in a controlled system, that is going to be a minus 35% bonus to your merits because you're controlling the system. It's always harder to maintain control of a system than it is to take a system. So in the power play world, so we're going to be getting fewer bonuses here on our merits in these controlled systems, but we're still getting the credit bonus. Okay, so I said I wanted to keep track of my messages, okay, because see, I'm now getting some other messages here. So here's our Sirius Corporation. We're now increasing our reputation. We're now up to friendly status with them. We got an invitation from Felicity Farseer, and this is something that we're going to be embarking on. This is an engineer. Once you sell a certain amount of exploration data, she will send you a message, and she'll add her location to your galaxy map. And we're going to be dealing with Felicity quite a bit as we go through this playthrough. But you can also see here we're getting our promotions in our exploration rank as well. Okay. So let's go ahead and we'll just sell one of our big ones here. And watch everything pop.
Incoming message.
So there you go. Even with the minus 35% bonus being applied here, we're getting a bunch of merits. So we've now got another reputation change, so we're now an ally. Okay. And we're getting more promotions in our exploration rank. We got 2 power play ranks out of that. And now we've got a 5% trade bond on sales that we make in our power territory. So you're going to get 5% credit bonuses for selling and trading items here where we're at. And just to kind of give you an update here. So we've earned 10,000 merits this cycle alone, just on the exploration. I haven't done anything else. And that's automatically put us in the top 25% right now. So if you're really interested in maximizing your credits, you can like get yourself into the top, well into the top 10% with what you're doing here, and then don't sell any more of your exploration data. Just hold on to it for the next week, get yourself another 50 million credits, and do that until you are no longer have any exploration data to sell. Okay? I'm not going to be necessarily doing that, but it is a trick with all of this credit amount that you have to not necessarily spend it all in one place, so to speak. But for me, I'm not really worrying about that very much.
Incoming message.
Okay, so everything popping up, and we've got a big one going here. So I got another exploration rank. So you can see I've got 6 ranks here so far.
Incoming message.
Okay, everything is just popping. So we got another rank increase, so another care package for our power. We got 2 ranks, actually. So we're now up to level 26.
Incoming message.
Okay. So we got another rank, and we got a perk with this. So now we're at minus 80% rebuy when we're killed inside our powers territory. Okay, and now things are tapering off. Okay, and one last big one here, I think.
Incoming message.
Okay, so look at that. We were the first one to map that system. And that's interesting. I did not expect that on Road to Riches. I'm actually going to write this down. I didn't expect that at all. I didn't widen my range very much. So I'm going to be careful to write this down correctly. HB11-3. So call 285 sector SX-HB11-3. Okay. So I got an additional bonus for being the first one to map the bodies in that system. Like I say, I didn't expect that. I would have figured that they would have all been mapped by now. Because like I say, the range wasn't that big. Yeah, that's that same system. Okay, now these I can't sell. The reason I can't sell them is because they're too close. I have to move away, far enough away from a system that I explore to be able to sell that data. You can't just sell it in the same system because everyone in that system knows their own system, so they don't care to get navigation data for it, or planetary data for it. So these I can't sell right now, but now we are at 565 million credits. So we went from 192 to 565, so that got us 373 million credits. If you remember, the spreadsheet listed 184 million, so we got almost exactly 2 times what we were expecting. Now, some of that is because I had some additional systems that we hadn't sold before we went on the road to riches. But this is where that 40% bonus comes in big, and the efficiency bonus from mapping worlds comes in big as well. So what you get out of that spreadsheet, or out of Spanch, for the road to riches is always going to be much lower. Normally about 70% lower, give or take, than what your actual payout is going to be if you are exploiting the power system in the game. Okay, so like I said before, now this is 373 million, right? And it took us 12 hours, so it's only like 31 million an hour or something like that. So on an hourly credits per hour basis, it's not the most efficient way to make money in this game. However, this is something that you can do without needing to buy a specialty ship. You could have done all of this in your Sidewinder. It would have taken you a really, really long time, but you could do it without a specialty ship. You only need one module, the detailed surface scanner, to do it. So you don't need. It's a really early entry-level way to make a decent amount of credits. It's not something that's going to be the most efficient, but it's an easy, laid-back, low entry point way to make a bunch of credits. Okay? So, and there's, like Dread said, there are a lot of people who have never done the road to riches. This is something that was very, very popular a long time ago, especially right after the mining nerf that happened. Back in the day, you saved up enough to buy a Python, you outfitted it for mining, and you went laser mining for low temperature diamonds, period, end of story, that was it. And you would earn like 150 million credits an hour doing that. Once that disappeared, people were looking for other ways to make money, and the road to riches became very popular after that. There are other ways to make money that are more efficient for new players, but this is just a real easy one. Pop on a YouTube video in the background and just start flying around. So it's really easy to do. So at the end of the day, that will kind of give you an update on what the road to riches is like and what the rewards are like for it. Okay, so we're going to check our mail, and the top or the next two here are exactly what I was expecting. I could not have got, there's a reason that I spent a little bit of time grinding to get that additional 40%. I was constantly keeping track of how much my exploration data was going to sell for, and I knew what rank that was going to put me at. That additional 10% rank up on Yong-Rui was to get me more credits, which got me to elite level in exploration. Now, every one of the 6 ranks has various ranks inside of it. So mostly harmless, scout, trailblazer, pathfinder, ranger, pioneer, and elite are the ones inside of exploration. Every one of them ends in elite. From here, you're going to be adding kind of like prestige markers, elite 1, elite 2, elite 3, etc. As you continue to gain in them. But gaining elite in any one particular skill is very, very valuable. And that's because of this. Once you gain elite in any of the 6 skills, you're going to be issued the Founder's World permit. Okay? What is the Founder's World? Okay, so Shinrarta Dezhra is the Founder's World. If you got on the Kickstarter for this game, or you bought into this game early before it was released way back in the day, your name is memorialized here on a beacon inside the Shinrarta Dezhra system. Okay, so there's a list of all of those commanders here in the system, and that's the first special thing about it. That's why it's called the Founder's World, is because it memorializes those founders in the game who got into it early. There's also something else very special that goes along with Elite, and that's that right now we're going to be getting a 10% discount on anything that we buy anywhere. That 10% bonus is kind of overshadowed by the 15% bonus that we can get from Yong-Rui if you're buying particular things. But this elite bonus applies everywhere, not just in the power system. The other thing that goes along with being elite is once we have access to the system, okay, I have access to it. Well, let me make sure that I don't have to go dock. Okay, yeah. I think I have to either take off from here or I have to pop into a different instance for that to take place. So let me just launch off of here. I'll get into Super Cruise and we'll see if it drops that permit into my log. This is something that I don't remember having to deal with back when I was going through all of these rank ups, but it might be a thing. So I'm just gonna pop out into Super Cruise first and see if it's gonna give me the permit. So I'm not actually jumping to a different world yet. Let me see if just getting out of the instance here will give it to me. Okay, so it didn't. So now I'm gonna actually jump out. because this happened with one of the other system permits that I got that's in this list. And I can't remember if I just had to jump out of the system or if I had to land at a different station for it to trigger, but and this hyperspace jump's taking a long time. It may also just be that the game's incredibly laggy. I hope I don't have to log out. And might have to log out. So I'm just gonna log out here. And we'll log back in and see if it populates it now. Okay, there it is. Okay, so yeah, this is a thing. I noticed this the last time when I got one of my other permits. When I got, I can't remember, I think it was a HIP 22460 system permit. When I got that, it didn't show up either. So just be aware now. You have to log out and log back in for it to work. So let's plot to the system now, and now I can plot to it. And we'll take a look at this. And this is the other reason that I highly recommend doing the Road to Riches with give or take 300 worlds. Is because if you're ranked up with Yong-Rui to that 40%, you're almost guaranteed to get elite level in exploration by turning this stuff in. And that's going to get you access to this system. And access to this system is going to make everything else going forward 1,000 times easier when it comes to building ships. And you'll see why that is when I get in here. Because honestly, building ships is one of the big things in this game. Putting together a build on Dezhra or Coriolis, and then putting it together, gathering the modules, doing the engineering, all that sort of stuff, and then testing it out to see how it works. That's a big part of this game. And having access to the Shinrarta Dezhra system is going to help that tremendously.
Frameshift drive charging.
Okay, so I'm going to take a look at my nav panel here, and Jameson Memorial is something I definitely want to bookmark. Okay, but you can see Founders World, Pilot's Memorial. This is a system where you can pop in and there's a beacon, and it will have a name, the names of some of the players of the game who have unfortunately passed on, and that sort of stuff. There are all of these locations that you can visit in the system here that will kind of give you more of the history of the game and that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of very, very interesting things here inside of the system, and I would highly recommend the first time that you're here to take a minute and go through a lot of these exploration locations, because like I say, they're going to have nav beacons in them, which are going to pop up some really cool things about the history of the game. But for right now, we're going to head to Jameson Memorial. Definitely bookmark this. You're definitely going to need it. And I forgot to lock it. And let's head out to it. And hey, and welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Okay, now again, there's something special about Shinrarta Dezhra. This is an extraordinarily popular system, okay, because of Jameson Memorial here. There's also an engineer here, which we'll be finding out more about later on. So it would be a very, very popular system for gankers and griefers to sit in, to give, to make your lives really, really bad. Jameson is a little special in that it's a Pilots Federation world, so there's no PvP here inside this system. So you can't be killed by somebody else. You can't be griefed by somebody else. It's a safe place inside the Elite Dangerous world that if you're in open, this is one place where you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so what is special about Jameson Memorial? Let's first of all look at the shipyard. There are 40 ships available for purchase here. Basically, any ship in the game that you have access to is going to be purchasable here at Jameson Memorial. So it's a one-stop shop for your shipping need or your ship needs. Okay. Now, the Federal and the Imperial ships, I need Imperial Navy or Federal Navy rank to unlock. So I don't have access to any of them yet. And oh boy, my beautiful Corvette. I miss my Corvette in my in my main account. It's a wonderful PvE ship. But anything that you can that is unlocked for you, you can buy here. So if you're looking to do a new ship build, this is a place that you can come to get it. Now, we're going to get our 10% discount here on the ship prices. If you want to save every credit, then you can go buy ships and modules at Yong-Rui stations. You can buy hard points at the Jerome Archer stations, I think. And you can save a little bit more than that 10%, because Yong-Rui's 15%. I just find it much easier to come here and do my builds all in one spot here. Okay, so that's the first thing, is that you have access to all of your available ships here. And the other thing about this place is that you have access to almost every module in the game. Okay, you don't have to go searching around through Inara for locations to buy your modules at. If you want to do a ship build, this Jameson Memorial is an all-in-one, one-stop shop for you to do that build. There are very few things that you cannot do here. There is another aspect to shipbuilding, that we have a human technology broker here, and we're going to be talking about this more in a little bit. So you can actually unlock and purchase your items here for your guardian stuff, and we're going to be talking much more about that here in just a second. But there are things that we do not have access to. We do not have access to the Thargoid technology brokers and that sort of stuff. So there are some modules that we're not able to buy here that are part of that unlock process. So just keep that in mind, that there are a very, very limited number of things that you're not going to be able to get here at this place, but it's a very, very small number. Okay. So here in our listing, if you look there in the middle on the left, Explorer rank Elite. Okay. Now, other than just unlocking the Founders World here, because it's our first Elite rank, all of these promotions throughout it have unlocked a rank decal for us. Okay, and you can see that these decals get progressively more detailed as you go up the list. So we won't go through all of them. Okay, but this is what the Elite Explorer rank decal looks like. Okay, so that decal is now available to us under livery. So here are our decals. Okay, and we have different places on the ship, 3 different locations where we can drop decals, and you can see this is our Explorer Elite that we unlocked. These are the other Explorer ranks that we have unlocked as we went up that chain. Okay, so here's the trade decals that we're up to broker on. This is my power play rank decal here. Okay, we have a mercenary rank for some of our on-foot stuff that we did. And there are a bunch of ones that you can purchase with arcs here, and our exobiology ranks as well. So they'll unlock decals and things that you can put on your ship. You can also put these on, as we saw, your SRV. You can also put them on your suits. You can put them on the shoulders of your suits. So as you progress up through these ranks, you'll have kind of a way to let everybody know, hey, this is kind of where I am in it. Okay, and there's a very special one called Triple Elite, where if you do manage to get Elite in 3 of these different ones, back in the day, we only had 4 of these. We had Combat, Explorer, Trade, and CQC. Almost nobody ever played CQC, so you almost never saw anybody with Elite in that. So the big 3 were Trade, Combat, and Explorer. Explorer was by far the easiest. Like I say, it takes you 12 hours to do the Road to Riches, and you end up with Elite. Trade is the next easiest. Just by selling items, you're going to up your trade rank as you go. It takes a while to do it, but it's definitely going to happen the next fastest. Combat rank is a slog. In fact, that's a very good question. I'm going to take a quick detour here and go to the Elite Dangerous forums. Because I made a post a long time ago. And I'm anxious to see if it's still there. Sorry, I just need to find the right search terms here. Oh, there it is. It's still there. Okay, so there is a post. I made this back when I was playing on console. So that's why I'm listed as a deleted member here, because my account got completely deleted off a console when I transitioned to PC after Odyssey. That was kind of the rules that Frontier set for it. But this talked about the entire road that I went on, getting from Combat Deadly, which is the second highest rank, to Combat Elite. It is a slog. And there is math involved here. And there's a spreadsheet involved, and I kept track of every kill from Deadly to Elite to find out exactly how many points I needed to progress from Deadly to Elite, and how many kills that associated to of a very particular type of ship, and that sort of stuff. And basically back then, you needed to kill 2,600 Thargoid scouts to go from Deadly to Elite. And that's just from the second highest rank to the highest rank, let alone what it takes you to get there. So combat rank is ship-based combat only, and it is a slog. But once you got those 3, you unlock the Triple Elite decal. And it was a separate thing. It pops up a big thing in the middle of your screen with this big fireworks show and all that sort of stuff to go along with it. Boy, I do miss all those days. But you can see that we are already up there, and we're well on our way to progressing our character. So on to the next thing that we're going to focus on today. Actually, before I do that, let's look at power play, because I did say something last week that maybe we want to go do one of these every week. and kind of find out what they're like. Okay. Some people, especially if you're new, might not have seen these before. And knowing kind of some of the ways to do some of these things can be very, very useful. So I'm going to do just one of these. I'm going to kind of pick one at the start of every episode, and we'll do it. So we need to salvage cargo from the OU Geminorum system. That's my home system. We need to collect 11 search and rescue salvage cargo, so black boxes, personal effects, and wreckage components in OU Geminorum, and return them to Alzir. Okay. You can also hand salvage into the search and rescue contact, but this contact is unable to confirm if doing so will improve your power progress in the local system. Okay, so we need to go find these 3 things. So how do we find them? So the first thing that we're going to do is go back to OU Geminorum. And I don't really care about going to the exact station. Let's just plot to the system, and we'll head back there. Because for the last half of this episode, we are going to go embark on something different, which is kind of what we did last week with the Road to Riches. We're going to start down a pathway to improving ourselves even more here in this game. So,
ship uncoupled. Moderate speed on exit.
and I don't think I honked this when I came in.
Power tank to weapons, Commander. Aggressive behavior will not be tolerated.
Cannot comply. Frameshift drive charging.
So let's hop out. Should only be 3 jumps or so.
You have left the no-fire zone. Have a safe journey.
3, 2, fuel scooping.
And again, whenever you see that discovered message pop up when you hit a star, just honk it real quick while you're going through it. Like Dread mentioned, it's not going to get you a lot of credits, but it will certainly get you some. And there's no point in not doing it when you're going to be in the system anyway. It's just clicking a button on your joystick or on your controller.
Fuel scooping.
And you didn't need to honk that one.
Frameshift drive charging.
Okay, now when I hop into the system here, the first thing I'm going to do is look for the nav beacon.
3, 2,
This might not be a system that I want to do this in, depending upon the state of the system here. But I think it's going to be. So we're going to go to our nav panel, we're going to select the nav beacon,
fuel scooping.
and it's right here. We're going to get ready to drop into it. And like I say, this is one of the other reasons why I chose OU Geminorum as a home system.
Fuel scooping complete.
Is because I knew I was going to be pledged to Yong-Rui here at the start. Sorry, just concentrating here. immediately go to 0 throttle, look for the white dot, and scan the nav beacon. It'll say scanning, and then once it's done, at the top right it says scan complete, system data downloaded. Now, this system is being undermined right now. Okay, so that means my local activities here for my power are to hand in, salvage, or retrieve specific goods, and that retrieve specific goods is what we're here to do. Okay, now this is not going to probably be the easiest place to do this.
Drive charging.
We're going to pop back into Super Cruise and we're going to go to 0 throttle. I'm going to go back to my navigation panel here, and you're looking for these. You're looking for power wreckage signatures. Okay, so I'm going to select this. If we look in the upper right hand corner, the faction is my faction. Those are the ones that you're looking for. You're going to see different ones. You'll see your faction or Jerome Archer, who is the controlling faction here. You do not want to go into the Jerome Archer signals, because Jerome Archer ships are going to sometimes pop into those signals, and they'll see you as a threat, and you'll get attacked. So here you want to look for Yong-Rui signals, or factions, or you want to find signals that are controlled by your faction, whichever one you're pledged to. There's a timer on them. They're going to disappear after a certain time. They're also going to disappear once you visit them the first time. There's a way around that. But I'm not going to be doing it. So let's just pop in here real quick, and I'll show you how to scoop some salvage. You don't need anything special to do this. So we're looking for wreckage components, and we're going to drop our cargo scoop. And you see in the bottom left, we now have a actually, I need to get there a little faster. These guys are going to be scooping up everything. So Yong-Rui ships are here, and they're going to try and be salvaging these things as well. So I want to get there while there's still some left. You need to be below 40. That one, I just tried to get there because the ships are taking everything, so I didn't explain it very well. These friendly ships are going to be salvaging this stuff too. So you line up the canister and the crosshairs, and you need to be below 40 on your speed. It'll turn blue, and you'll acquire it. Okay, so just drop your cargo scoop, line it up in the crosshairs, and be below 40 on your speed. And we need black boxes. We don't need the occupied escape pods. You can collect them if you want. They take actual, or all of these things take cargo space. So you can sell those things or turn them into your power contact, and we'll pick one up while we're here. But they're not going to count toward that merit goal that we were looking for, because this was not on the list. Okay, but see, the important thing here is that we're in a Yong-Rui faction signal. So these ships are our friendly ships that have died, and we're in here salvaging them. And friendly ships will pop in to do the same thing. So we just need to pop in and get them before they do. And we don't have to worry about enemy ships. So now we're immediately going to close our cargo scoop. And you don't need limpets or anything like that for this. If you want to take limpets, you can, but you don't have to. You can just use your cargo scoop. And now we're going to look for the next power wreckage signal. Wow. Okay. There's one. It's a ways out there. But we have an SCO drive. That's Jerome. That's the conflict zone. Why did it select the conflict zone? That's weird. Not entirely sure why it's telling me I selected that signal source. Let's just head out there real quick. I selected the power wreckage signature, you can see it, but it's showing it as a conflict zone, which it shouldn't be. So let me just get a little closer here. And I'll deselect it, and then I'll select it again. Now it's showing as a conflict zone for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but I'm not going to go get in the middle of that. So let's go look for any other power wreckage signals. There's so many things in this system. There's another one. Yeah, it's showing. This is kind of weird because threat 3s are not normally like that. Saw another one there. We'll select it, but it's threat 3 also. Yeah, these are kind of weird. Not entirely sure why the threat 3s are showing up as conflict zones. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump out and we're going to jump back. We can reset this by logging out and logging back in. Again, there are some exploits I do and some I don't. But I've definitely been in, you know, that might be in acquisition systems. That might be why it is. That might be the difference. It might be that in acquisition systems, there are no conflict zones. But in systems where you are actively doing it, or actively undermining somebody else, threat 3s might be a conflict zone. But in acquisitions, I know that threat 2s, threat 3s, and threat 4s, there's nothing in them except enemy ships, and the threat level determines how difficult those friendly or enemy ships are. But because this is an undermining system, it might mean that the threat, anything above a threat 2 is a conflict zone. And I don't want to get in the middle of that. I don't want to drop into the middle of a fight. So offset, look for the nav beacon. It's right there. Now you don't have to drop into the nav beacon. You can honk the system, and you can go into your FSS and you can find all the signal sources and scan them. It's just an incredible waste of time. Just jump into the system, hit the nav beacon, and it will display what all of the signal sources are in the system. It won't say unknown signal or anything like that. It will actually tell you what the signal source is. We'll scan it. Immediately start charging our frame shift drive. And sometimes you will get frame shift inhibited in here. And go to 0 throttle, so when you come out, you're going minimal speed. And again, start looking for that's threat 3, so that's probably going to be conflict zone. Let's go look. Yeah, I think that's the deal with these is you've got to now look for a threat 2 or lower, which we just got evidently lucky to find our first time around. Okay, but that explains to you how to do it. So now we need to go to Alzir, is that right? Yes. We need to go to Alzir. Okay, we haven't been there yet.
Frame shift drive charging.
So you can just keep jumping into and out of the system, hitting the nav beacon, see if you can find any threat 2s, and do it there. This is much easier in acquisition systems, which are those systems kind of out near the edges of the bubble. Because in those cases, there's not an active conflict going on as far as conflict zones go. So any power wreckage signal you find is going to have wreckage components in it for you to salvage, so it's pretty easy to get what you need. So this is what unidentified signal sources look like until you scan the nav beacon. Okay, so I'm gonna have to loop around to the right here on this. So this ought to be good enough. And I'm just trying to get that mail slot oriented towards me. Make it easier to get into the station. Just getting that habit. No worries, Dread. Thanks for being here again. I do appreciate it. Have a good one. And this is something I haven't seen in a while. These are noob hammers. we call them noob hammers. These little constructs out at the end of long arms rotating on the station. Now they make sense. If you're going to have like nuclear reactors or something that might put off some radiation, you might want to put those way out there where they're far away from the station. If you want higher gravity to do certain things, and I need to stop talking and actually think about landing. Or if you want to have high gravity for specific things like balancing, you fill it with high density material and it acts as a counterweight. That sort of stuff. There are a lot of reasons for them, but those little constructs out there at the end of those are moving really, really fast. We call them noob hammers because if you're not paying attention, you'll get hit by them, and they absolutely will destroy your ship. So yeah, just beware the noob hammers whenever you find them. So here in Krellout's Folly, we're going to go to our contacts, and we'll have a power contact here. And now you can see that we have some things lit up over here. We can hand in a black box. Okay, so we're going to go to offload one of them. We're going to confirm the transaction. And you should see that we're going to get merits down there. Okay, but what you also, before you do the rest of them, just be on the safe side and check that you're advancing the goal. Okay, maybe you're in the wrong system, or you collected them in the wrong system, or something like that. So make sure you're advancing the goal before you turn the rest of them in. Okay, so wreckage components, we should have 3 of these. Okay, so we now have turned in 4. We need 11, so we're 1/3 of the way there. Now again, you can offload occupied escape pods, but that's not on our list for anything, so it's just going to earn you credits. We also did have some care packages from all that leveling up, and we need to go do these for what, or collect these for what we're about to do. So I'm just going to run through these collections real quick. For each one of these, you're getting 250,000 credits and engineering materials. All right. Okay, so I think that's the halfway spot of the stream. We're going to be talking about the next thing that we're going to do, but we're going to do that after we take a 3-minute break. Give everybody a chance to get up and stretch your legs, use the facilities, grab something to drink, and I'll be back in just a little bit. Alright, welcome back everybody. Hope you had the opportunity to take a little break there. So, what are we going to be embarking on now? And what we're going to be doing is embarking on a material gathering mission. I mentioned earlier that it took me 52 jumps to get out to the community goal. And that's because my jump range on my Mandalay, while it's pretty good at 38.61 light years, it's not the 79 that I have on my Mandalay on my main account. And that's due to two very important reasons. The first is engineering. We've talked about engineering, how you can take your modules that I have here, and even though I have a 5A, which is the highest module I can buy, you can put modifications on this to help increase that jump range. Okay. There's also a different version of this module, which we're going to be looking to gather materials to purchase for as well, that can help do that. But there's also another module that you can add to your ship to increase your jump range, and that is something called the Guardian Frameshift Booster. Now, for this, you need a little bit of lore. I'm not going to go entirely into the background of it, but think of it kind of like, I don't know if anybody, well, I'm sure some of you probably played Mass Effect, with the Reapers being the big bad in that, and there were ancient races that humans were able to find technology from to help battle the Reapers. The old sci-fi television show Babylon 5, with the Shadows being the big bad, but the ancient races helping them out during that war. You kind of have the same thing here in Elite Dangerous. The Thargoids are the big bad, they're the alien race, but they were in a war a long time ago with a group that we call the Guardians. Now, the Guardians made a lot of technological advancements to fight against the Thargoids, and eventually all the Guardian technology basically turned on them and destroyed them. The Thargoids didn't have to do it. Their own technology is what destroyed them. But they spent a long time developing technology to specifically fight the Thargoids. So a lot of your anti-Thargoid weaponry and that sort of stuff, modules to help improve your ship, are going to be based around Guardian technology. To do that, we have to gather some Guardian materials. Okay? Now, the Guardian materials are gathered in very specific ways through a set of gameplay loops to gather them, and then you bring them back and you unlock those technologies at a Guardian technology or at a human technology broker. To gather these materials, we need to be able to keep track of them. So I'm going to introduce you now to a program that you can install called the ED Odyssey Materials Helper. When you start embarking upon the engineering grind or the module unlock grinds, where you are delving further into mid-game stuff for your ships, this is an indispensable part of that. Okay? Ships on-foot engineering for your unlocking the engineers for your suits and your weapons, your suit upgrades, your weapon upgrades and modules, that's all here. For your ships, doing the same thing, unlocking the engineers that are over here, unlocking hard points, utility mounts, core internals, all this sort of stuff. And then others, there are power play things in here that will let you know more about your various powers and what your ranks are with them and that sort of stuff. There's also a way to track your permits in here. So we once we update this. It's weird, I don't know why it's not updating this since we already have it. But this will tell you the status of all the permits in the game and what you have to do to unlock them. So there's a bunch of stuff in here that's very, very useful, but the main thing it's for is for tracking what you need to gather from a material standpoint to do whatever you're looking to do. So for instance, we are looking for tech broker blueprints, and we're looking for Guardian modules, and we're looking for the Guardian FSD booster. Okay, so this is the module we're looking for. This tells you the materials that we're going to need, and you can add it to your wish list. Now, if you click over here, you can see all the materials in the game and whether or not you have any of them. Okay, so some of these we have. We've been getting some of them from our care packages as we've leveled up with our power. Others we don't, and we're going to be focusing a lot on this purple line here, because for this we're going to need a Guardian module blueprint fragment, which we're going to get today, which I'll show you the gameplay loop to get it. But we're going to need 21 power cells. We have 0, obviously. And we need 21 technology components, which again, we obviously have 0 of. HN shock mounts are a commodity that you can buy. All you have to do is look in Anara for where the nearest one is to buy, or you can look right here inside the ED material helper, and it will tell you where the nearest station is, how much of it they have, and what the price of it is. Okay, so this is why it's so indispensable to have this. It just consolidates everything into one location. The last thing is focus crystals. Now, focus crystals are a material that you have to collect, and it tells you where to find them. It tells you where the systems are to find them. Now, some of these are a little bit outdated because there are more efficient ways now to get some of these materials after the Engineering 2.0 update. But Dav's Hope used to be the place you'd go. That was just where it was. Nowadays, you can get most of these materials from mission rewards. So you can go into your starport services, you can go into your mission boards, and you can select all. And up here under all choices, pull that down to materials. And you can now look down here, and we're looking for focus crystals. And you can just scroll down through this and see if there are anything that offer focus crystals. There's flawed focus crystals, but not focus crystals. Okay. The way to really do this, though, is on foot. Almost every mission on foot has some sort of material reward that goes along with it, and not all of those are on foot materials. Sometimes you're going to be getting ship-based materials as well. So this is one way to get them. And what you can do is you can just reset this. You can fly around and reset this board until you get what you're looking for. Okay, but for us, we're going to now be looking for that one Guardian module blueprint that we need. And how do we get it? Well, I think these bookmarks are still good. I copied over some bookmarks from my main account. I haven't done this gameplay loop in 7 years, so I'll be real anxious to see if I still remember everything. I won't remember everything about it, but I'll remember how to do it. But I made some bookmarks here, and these are under systems, because I haven't been to any of these systems yet. This one here, PXJ C25-8, I believe is the closest system to the bubble where you can find a module blueprint. Okay. Now, this system is a long way away. Okay, it's 650 light years away. Most of the rest of the Guardian stuff is out here even farther. And it will be sometimes out at 1,500 light years. So this is the closest. It's going to take us 18 jumps to get there. So it's going to be a little bit, it's going to take us 12, 15 minutes to get out there. But that's where we want to go. That is if you're looking for modules, I believe that is still the closest one to the bubble where you can get the modules from. Okay, so let's go ahead and head out. And along the way, we'll kind of talk a little bit about what we're doing. So, once you've installed the ED Material Helper program, you can kind of scroll through it and see all of the various modules that you're able to unlock with Guardian Tech. Oh, and I need to be a little careful. What are the noob hammers? Okay, I think I'm okay. That would have been incredibly funny for me to get smashed by a noob hammer after I mentioned it. And I believe you need 8 Guardian module fragments to unlock all of the Guardian modules in the game. So you could sit out here and farm 8 of these and complete that and never have to come back to it. So that is something I will probably do off stream, is because I know there's a set number of these and I'm not going to need all of them, but I might as well unlock them all. And this gameplay loop is pretty quick. It's not a big hours long grind for each one, and if it's going to take me 10 minutes to get out there or something, I might as well just stay out there for that entire time and just get them done. There are also Guardian weapons that you can unlock. Now there's a lot more Guardian weapons. I think there's 18 of those. So finding all of the weapon fragments, it's a lot longer grind to get it, but you can still do it. And then there are Guardian fighters. We don't have a fighter bay on this ship, but there are 3 Guardian fighters that you can unlock. And those Guardian fighters, they're neither better nor worse than the human, I guess, based fighters in the game, but they are better at anti-Xeno combat, if you get into that. And there are only 3 fighters, Guardian fighters in the game, so there's another gameplay loop for those that's radically different than the module and weapon gameplay, fragment gameplay loop. And you only have to farm 3 of those, and you can unlock all of the Guardian fighters and be done with it. So off stream, I'm probably going to stay out here for a while in this neck of the woods and get all the module fragments and the fighter fragments. I'll unlock maybe 10 or so of the weapon fragments, and that's probably about it. I don't think I'm going to do the whole thing. But we'll see. Maybe kind of like the road to riches, maybe I'll just decide that I want to do it. So the fragments are just one portion of it, like I said. The other part is the materials, and there are 5 different Guardian materials. There are power cells, technology components, which are the 2 we're interested in really for here. There's Guardian Wreckage components, and there are power conduits and sentinel weapon parts. All of those things have different uses for unlocking various different weapons, modules, and fighters, so you'll need to collect all of them at a certain point. So when you're at these locations that we're going to, just pick up all of them at the start. Doesn't matter how many you're getting or what they are, just pick up everything. Later on, you may want to be a little more targeted about it. But for now, just since we're going to be unlocking a bunch of stuff. Just pick everything up.
System scan complete. Frameshift drive charging.
So the other thing about being out where we are, like I say, the Guardians were one side of a galactic war that happened thousands of years ago. Humans are still fighting that war now. We just finished up a big invasion from the Thargoids a little bit ago. But the Guardians are all gone. All that's left is the remnants of their technology. And that technology may not like us trying to pilfer these ruins. So we're gonna have to deal with that. But the other thing being out here this far in this direction is that we could possibly run into Thargoids out here. The Thargoids are not dead. Humans know that very, very well right now in this game. And we may run into some. They have a very unique ability in that they can... We've seen interdictions where when you're in Super Cruise, an enemy ship tries to pull you out of Super Cruise. The Thargoids can pull you out of hyperspace. So while you're in the middle of this jump, they will interdict you in hyperspace. It's a really cool animation. I'm actually hoping that we see one while we're out here. I don't think we're going to be far enough out for it to be a certainty, because we're not out in the Pleiades fully out here. But we might get lucky and see an interdiction. And it's, like I say, it's a really cool thing to see, especially the first time it happens to you in person and you're not expecting it. It's a thing. It's not dangerous unless you make it dangerous. But yeah, it's an interesting thing to see. I guess I probably should explain what I mean by making it dangerous. Well, one, obviously, if you attack the Thargoid when you're there, it's going to get upset with you, and you're going to have a fight on your hands. The other thing is, at these sites, there are Guardian relics. There are things that you can pick up that actually count as cargo. Materials for engineering do not count as cargo. You have a limited number or a limited amount of space for each one you're allowed to hold, but they don't take up cargo space or cargo rack space. There are things out here, relics and urns and tablets and things like that you can pick up and you can sell back in the bubble. And those things do take up cargo space. When those things are in your cargo hold and you get interdicted by a Thargoid, you're going to get scanned by a Thargoid. And the Thargoid is going to get upset about the fact that you have Guardian cargo on board. And you'll have a fight on your hands. Another way is if you have Guardian hard points on your ship, you will, or the Guardian, I think even the Guardian experimental module will do it as well. But if you have Guardian hard points, they're going to recognize that you have Guardian weapons, and they're going to get upset with you. So, other than that, if you just have a normal ship and you're flying out here to gather up materials, you don't have to worry about them. They'll be curious about what you are, and then they'll go on their way. And I've not been paying attention here. So I can't refuel here. I cannot refuel there. I have not been paying attention. I cannot refuel at these stars out here. I don't necessarily want to have to go backwards. Okay, so there's one I can... Let me just scan around a little bit, see if I can find another M that's closer. There's a K. That's not too far off the route. Let's go there.
Frameshift drive charging.
Okay, so here's a G here. I just wasn't paying attention. It'll also warn you in your info panel up there when you get to the last star that you can reach, that is your last refueling star before the end of your route. You have to kind of pay attention up there and watch it, and I've been talking and concentrating on it, so I haven't been paying attention here. But I'm going to refuel here, and then I'll replot out to where we're going. And this ship actually has really, really good heat management. If I can sit here, 294 is my max scoop rate, so I'll just sit here until I fuel up. And I won't gain appreciable amounts of heat while I'm sitting here. So it's got really good heat management at this stage. Later on, when I up my shield to a prismatic, that heat management's going to get quite a bit worse. But for now, I can just sit here and scoop all day long without worrying about heat. So yeah, just pay attention to that info panel, and when it pops up that message that says this is the last scoopable star in your route, then stop to refuel, and then check your map and see if there's another refueling star somewhere ahead of you. Because it'll plot through, the way my map settings are, it's going to plot through stars that I cannot refuel at. You can change that in your I thought it was in here. There was a way to plot only through those stars.
Fuel scooping complete.
I'll have to go look, and I'll come up with it. I'm going to go back to my bookmark, go to the system, and go to this one here. Now we're 9 jumps away.
Frameshift drive charging.
And let's just zoom out. So we can make it almost all the way, but at the very end we have a fuel star, so we're good. I could have sworn there's a way to plot only through scoopable stars, but also, I haven't done it in so long. You do that early on when you're in your Sidewinder or your hauler, and you can jump like 3 stars before you need to refuel, but you don't do it after that. You normally just pay more attention to where you are. I just need to be careful because I'm not concentrating while I'm talking. And jumps don't normally take this long. When you get an extended time in hyperspace like this, a lot of times the game will sort itself out and it will pop into the instance, but sometimes you'll get a DC. So you just kind of have to wait and see. I've been getting a lot more of this lately, ever since the maintenance patches. Extended FSD jumps and that sort of stuff, and like I say, a lot more crashes than normal. Or not crashes, disconnects than normal.
Frameshift drive charging.
Now I hope y'all remembered, before you come out here yourself, we mentioned outfitting our ship. Before we came out here, we have outfitted our ship almost entirely how we want it to be. And we mentioned that we put 2 point defense modules in our utility slots on the top of our ship. And this set of gameplay loops is why we did that. And we'll talk about that more, but don't come out here, because there are no outfitting locations out here. We are outside the bubble now. So there's no stations or outfitting locations out here or anything like that. So if you didn't bring it, you're not going to have it. So make sure before you come out here you have at least one point defense module installed, and it needs to be on the top of your ship, not the bottom. And you'll see why when we start talking about it.
Fuel skipping. Frameshift drive charging.
Okay, so we have about 6 jumps left. Yes. 5 more minutes and we're there.
4, 3, 2.
Actually, I want to check my own modules. Okay, yeah. I've got a point defense turret. I think I've got 2 of them. No, but I've got them. And I know I put them on the top of my ship when I was outfitting, so. I've been making some module changes by basically dropping off certain things and adding in cargo racks to give me more cargo space for running relics. So I know I've dropped off a couple of modules at my home station, and I was just making sure I hadn't made any other changes to the loadout since then. Oh. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Okay, I've got an SRV hangar. Oh, jeez. Like, I didn't get rid of my SRV hangar, did I? I think I left my collector limpet controller back there and put a cargo rack in its place, and then the empty class 5 slot, which was where this frame shift booster is going to go. I think I added a cargo rack to it, so. You need an SRV for this, by the way. So bring a Scarab with you. Don't bring the Scorpion. Well, you can bring it if you want, but it's going to take you a lot longer
System scan complete.
to do this gameplay loop.
Frameshift drive charging.
So make sure you've got a Scarab, make sure you've got point defense on the top of your ship, and that should be about it.
3, 2.
And yes, I know the jumping out here isn't the most engaging gameplay loop, or gameplay that y'all have ever seen.
System scan.
But it is part of it. It's part of the game. And
Frameshift drive charging.
we're working to cut down the number of jumps that we would need to get out here. I think in my ship, I need 9 jumps, I think. Or no, I need 8 jumps to get out here, I think. Something like that. So it's a lot faster when you start engineering your ships and adding on these modules to increase your jump range. And the Mandalay has really, really good jump range anyway. It can possibly have the best jump range in the game, depending upon your build. That's just not a build that is very useful for anything other than jump range.
System scan complete. Frameshift drive charging.
But I think you can get this thing up over 92 light years per jump. And it used to be 89, I think, was what the jump Akanda used to be. So this I'm pretty sure beats it now. I'd have to go look and see. Like I say, I haven't kept up on those stats, but I think this ship can have the highest jump range in the game now. almost there.
Fuel scoping. Frameshift drive charging.
Okay, so this is our system here, right? Yes. Okay, so once I pop in here, I'm gonna honk the system, and I'm gonna open up my system map, and I'm gonna look for the specific planet that we're going to. Alright, so let's honk it real quick.
Fuel scoping.
We'll sit here and scoop for a little bit while we open up our system map. We're looking for planet 7A. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7A is right here. See, there's a bunch of fleet carriers out here. People know what's in this system. So this is the planet we're looking for. We're going to bookmark this planet. Okay. Actually, let's not bookmark it until we get down there close to it. 2,000 light years out. Makes it easy with the SCO.
Fuel scope
Or 2,000 light seconds out. Okay, so we're going to approach perpendicular to the plane of the ecliptic here. So, should be good here. Once we start scanning it, which will happen somewhere around 25 light seconds. That depends on the size of the planet. So there it is. Now I'm going to go here, and I'm going to bookmark this. And I'm going to put Guardian module in front of it and save that. So if I need to come back here again, I know where it is. Now, when you make your approach to the planet, you're going to do it very similar to what you do with your surface scanner. You do not have to scan this planet, but you need to get close to it. Okay, then you can start slowing down and check your contacts panel. Okay, this is the planet. You can see it says Guardian Structure. That's what you're looking for. Okay, so it's on the other side. So let's circumnavigate the planet. And we'll land at that structure. Feels so weird to be doing this again after 7 years. It does. It just feels so weird. Because that was the last time I have been out to these things. So this is a treat for me to be able to come out here again. So. And I'm sure I won't remember everything about this, so you'll see me fumbling around a little bit. But so we're going to make our standard approach here. We're going to drop into orbital cruise now. We're in the dark, which is actually more helpful for us. You're going to do most of this with your night vision enabled, even if it's in the day. But night vision at night really helps things stand out. So I'm happy we're on the dark side here. Okay, so we're going to activate our night vision here. Now, normally when I used to come here, I was in a DBX, a Diamondback Explorer, which is a small ship. This is a medium ship, so I'm going to be anxious to see how easy and or difficult it is to find a landing place for this thing. But while we're here, let's kind of look at the ruins here. Okay. So you see you have this central kind of corridor here from one end to the other. Down here at this end, you have an altar. This is where the module fragment is going to appear once we've completed the gameplay loop here. Okay. Now you see these triangular things on either side? These are pillar locations. When you get close to them, their pillars are going to pop up out of the ground. And there are 6 of those locations here. Okay. And now I get to try and remember where they all are. It's not out there. I think this is the one that's got the 2 back here in the back. Yeah. Here are the 2 in the back. So there's one here and the exact opposite side of the ruins over here. You'll find another one right there. Right there in the crosshairs now, right there. And then these last 2 are on the sides here. And I just have to remember where they are. We'll see them in our SRV. Right there. There's one there. And there's one on the exact opposite side. Over here. Somewhere, I just gotta find it. It's actually in here somewhere. But it's over here, and there's 6 of them, and they're kind of mirrored around this central corridor. Okay? Those pylons, when they come up, once you activate the altar, you drive up to a pylon, it comes up, and you activate it. It will start a 5-minute timer. You'll have 5 minutes to drive around and activate the next pylon. Every time you activate a pylon, it adds 2 minutes to the timer. Okay? So you have, time will be ticking down before it runs out, and you have to restart the entire mini game here. Okay, so be aware that there is a time limit on this, and you don't want to dilly-dally around out here. You want to really get to it once you start the actual mini game. Now, what you cannot see here is that I mentioned Guardian technology. There are leftover protectors here. They're called sentinels, and they are not going to like the fact that you are here at all. Okay, now what you need to do is, those sentinels have 2 attacks. They have a beam attack, which is actually more of a plasma attack, where they shoot plasma at you to damage you, but they can also launch missiles. Those missiles go up in the air and they come down on top of you. Even if you're in cover, they can hit you behind cover. And when those things hit, they can knock your SRV upside down or knock you into a location where you get stuck. That's the real way that you die here at these locations, is by getting hit by those missiles. If you land your ship close enough, the Guardian missiles are able to be shot out of the air by the point defense systems on your ship. And that's why you want to bring point defense with you when you come out here. Okay? Now, your point defense systems have a range, a max range. And I think that max range is somewhere around a kilometer or something like that. So you can see we're 262 meters from the center of this right now. So you need to be fairly close. And you want to be kind of facing most of the monument. And you want your point defense, wherever they are on your ship, kind of facing toward the monument itself. Okay, so we're gonna land right in here, and we're gonna deploy in our SRV. Okay, we're immediately gonna turn off our lights and turn on our night vision.
Low gravity warning.
Okay, and we're gonna go into combat mode. Because as you drive around this monument, the sentinels are buried underground. And as you drive around this monument, they're going, and you get close enough to where they're buried, they're going to pop up out of the ground and start attacking you. So what I want is 2 pips into systems and 4 pips into weapons. And you see you see the red pip to the left of me now? Okay, so I'm under attack right now. So I want to get into... I want to get these... There's one to the right of me now, too. I want to get into cover. Okay, there he is. So we're going to start shooting. His incoming missile. You also saw my point defense deploying. And they will try and hide from you. Yeah, see, he's trying to shoot his plasma attack at me. And I actually want him to shoot his missiles, because I want to see my point defense shoot him out of the air. See? And you see my point defense shot him. That's exactly what you want to have happen. Because those are the only real dangers here, are those missiles. Because you can see he only took off 5% of my shields there.
Target destroyed.
So that's the goal here, is to drive around and activate all of the dormant sentinels that are out here. Okay, and you'll quickly learn where they are. And what I normally try and do is drive around and activate them so I can see the red dots pop up, like right there. And then when I do, then I go into my turret. And you can actually position yourself, if you unlock from the Guardian, or the Sentinel, you can actually position yourself that you can hit him, and he can't shoot, and he won't shoot you. Okay, so you can cheese this a little bit. But like I say, the Sentinels aren't really dangerous until they get off their missiles, and their missiles really aren't dangerous to me right now because of where I position my ship. And see these white dots? There's Guardian Sentinel weapon parts.
Cargo scoop deployed.
So I'm going to pick these materials up. Guardian Wreckage components. And this is just me. I dropped my cargo scoop. And Guardian power conduits are not something we need for the engineering that we're going to be doing, or for the unlock that we're going to do, but like I say, just collect everything for now. Now there are other white dots on the ground like that. That's a Guardian casket, and you can shoot that and it will blow up, and sometimes it will release other things inside of it, or you can just go pick it up and you can go sell it. But it takes cargo capacity in your ship to be able to do that. So like these Guardian totems, same thing. You can see in the bottom left it says in cargo, because it takes cargo space. But I don't really focus on those. There have been community goals in the past for us to come out here and pick up these relics and take them back to the bubble. And those have been kind of cool. But for the most part, you don't really need them. It's pointless to come all the way out here and try and sell them. They don't sell for very much. So all I'm doing is kind of driving around trying to activate sentinels. And because I've forgotten where the spawns are. I think there's a couple, or at least one, in here in the middle. Oh, this might have been the one I already activated. And I didn't pick up the materials from these guys. So let me... That's a casket. Okay, that's our relic. We're going to need that, but I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit. Let me go see if there are any more materials out there. There's another relic up there. The rest of them I killed around here. Yep. There's a wreckage component. And you can get stuck on the bodies of the sentinels, so just be careful when you're moving around them. Okay, so let's get back toward the monument. Now the other thing that you're going to find out here, and I'm trying not to talk too much about this, are these white icons you see here on our left. You have these slanted pillars. There are these panels on the side, which you can shoot off, and a material will pop out. Now that is a Guardian power conduit. I think we picked it up, actually. Or, yeah, I didn't look at it to see what it was. Let's go back in here and we'll knock out the next one. That one kind of landed right on top of me. So there's a Guardian power cell. So we need 21 of these. Okay, so we're gonna go pick that up. And then I believe there's one more panel on this. And you kind of have to drive around and find the side that has the panel. There it is. And that has another Guardian power cell in it. I need to back up because that's too close. Yeah. Okay, now there are other destructible panels on these various portions of the structure. They're not on every one of these, but sometimes like around the backs of these or on the sides and that sort of stuff, you'll find them. And this is how you find the other 5 materials that you're going to need for unlocks. Now there's one more thing at these sites, and you can kind of see it here with this glowing blue light. If you change to analysis mode and you select the active ancient obelisk, you can scan this. And in the upper right hand side, it will tell you that you've downloaded some data, and it says pattern epsilon obelisk data. There are 5 different levels of data, alpha through epsilon, and you will need those for unlocks as well. Now, these are not the most efficient sites to unlock data. There's a much more efficient site that has more of those pylons to scan than where we are, but you can certainly get some here. Okay, so try and stay off the center area. You can get stuck really easy. I think we're going to unlock another couple of sentinels up here. So let's go into this mode so we can see the red dots appear. And these 2 corners, there are definitely going to be sentinels out here. And the goal here is to try and kill all of the underground sentinels right now, so that you're not dealing with them while the timer's running. Is this not the... Oh, no, those are the ones at the back. I'm on the wrong side for that. So I think there's going to be 2 more up here. I'm going to go around to the far side and come up that side. It's coming back to me a little bit. And once you do this site a few times, you'll very quickly come up with the methodology of the quickest ways to do this run. For me, I'm just kind of exploring this again. There it is. I knew there was one over here. See, I can unlock. This plasma's getting shot by that, or being blocked by that, and mine wasn't. So let's go over here and pick up these materials. And there's normally 3 materials that get dropped. Okay. Alright, so I think that's all of the... And there's another pylon here. You don't have to be in your turret to scan these if you're close enough. Okay, so now let's go activate the minigame. I don't know if I can make it up this or not. I don't think I can. It's been a long time since I've been here, chat. I think. I don't know. I can't remember where I have to go, where I can make it up here without going to the middle. Oh, I can make it up here. There are the first two pylons. Okay. Now I believe we're going to activate. Yep. There, we've activated two more sentinels. These ones are pretty easy because they're a long way away and you can just straight back and forth.
Target destroyed.
Ooh, they've gotten a little AI bump. Normally they don't come out like that.
Target destroyed.
Okay. So once those two pylons activate, you get the last two sentinels that are down there behind you. Okay. So now what do we do here with this? Well, these are the first two, like I said, the first two of these pylons. Okay, so you need to be in turret mode because that's the only way to get high enough. And you need to shoot this middle area. Okay? And you need to keep shooting it until it charges. Okay, this is different. Normally it put a thing up into the sky. I don't think it's doing that now. Okay, so that one's charged. You can see I have 8.5 minutes now. So yeah, they act a little bit differently. Normally when you in the past when you activated it, they shot a big beam up into the sky to let you know that it was charged. And now we're going to kind of go around and activate the other four. And there should be more sentinels that are going to activate as well. So let's see where this one is. I just heard it. There it is, right there. I knew it was over here. This one's kind of hidden. This is kind of not cool. The triangle part's no longer visible. Okay, so now we're going to go down to the corners, and these are now going to have sentinels that spawn at them. I'm pretty sure. Like I say, it has been a while. There it is. Okay, so that one's charged. Now we're going to go to the opposite side and work our way up that side. So as long as you have a basic understanding of where they are, the timer's really not an issue. I'm going to pop back in here and just make sure there are no red dots. Okay. I could swear I haven't killed all the sentinels yet. I'm going to have to kill some more, don't worry, but... easier to charge than they used to be back in the day. You had to throw a bunch of ammo at these things back in the day to charge them up. And now this last one should be in here, right? Okay, it's not next to that. It's right there. So now a bunch of sentinels are going to spawn.
Under attack.
And I think there's 4 or 6 of them that are going to spawn. But it's really not that dangerous, so just don't panic. Just get a little distance and take them one at a time. There's the missiles, and there's my point defense. I love point defense. There's some more missiles. My point defense is taking care of them. Okay, so he's dead.
Destroyed.
And there's one more over there. Let's take this one first. 330. Let's see if I can get line of sight here. I can't, so let's go around the outside. Around the outside, around the outside. And if you're far enough away, they won't shoot at you anyway.
Under attack. Target destroyed.
Okay, now I think the last 2 are over on the far side. Once you've activated all the pillars, the timer stops. So you don't have to worry about running around anymore. You can take your time. Everything's kind of frozen. And do what you need to with the sentinels here. One more. And I should be able to get line of sight here. Yep.
Target destroyed.
And like I say, just don't panic about it. They're really not all that dangerous if you have point defense to protect you. It's really only those missiles that cause an issue. Well, let's go over here and let's scoop up some materials. If I can find where they died, here we go. Scan this? I might have. Nope. Okay, so now that we've stopped the timer, it said that the altar's activated. You can see it glowing up there. Got some more sentinel stuff here. Sentinel weapon parts. You need this for some of the weapon unlocks. Guardian power conduits. Okay. So now that the altar is available to us, we need to find a way to activate it. And you activate it using a key. And that key is something we saw earlier here. And that's this relic that's up here. So to shoot it, it'll pop out. Now this, you can see in the bottom left, this needs cargo space. Okay. You're only able to carry, I think 4 tons of cargo in the Scarab. Only 2 tons of cargo in the Scorpion, which is another reason to leave it at home for this. But you only need 1 relic. Now you can take another one of these and keep it in your ship for the next relog. So when you relog out of this and reset the monument, you don't have to farm another relic. If you want it, I mean, if you want to super optimize this, sure, go ahead and do something like that. For me, it doesn't really matter as much. Just go ahead and scan, or go ahead and get the relic again. It's not normally a big deal. So I'm kind of moving up here and checking and see if there's any more components. Okay, so we have another one of these columns. And that is something important. That's one of the 2 Guardian things that we need. Guardian technology components. And these are by far the rarest of the Guardian materials. Now there is a site that is much more optimized, or that has more locations. I think this has 3 spawns of Guardian technology components, so that will get you 9, because each one's worth 3. But there's another location that's much better. It's got 5, I think, either 4 or 5, I can't remember. And I have a bookmark for that as well. So when I'm farming technology components, I go to that location. Power cells are another thing that we need. Okay. So now let's go up and get our module blueprint. And again, there are more of these columns. So there's another one here. There's another one over there that have 3 spawns on them. I'm just, you know what they are now. I'm not going to spend the entire thing here going through every spawn. There's also, like I mentioned, on the back of these, there are destructible panels on some of these. Wow, and that thing got flung to Narnia. I saw it spit that thing spit that thing out, and yeah, it ended up in Narnia somewhere. I have no idea where that thing went. But on the back of these structures, sometimes you will find destructible panels like that as well. So there are maps of all of these structures online that will show you where all of the spawn points are. Now these components that we're getting from the columns, they're fixed, meaning they're always going to be in the exact same spot every time you come back. And you can see this one doesn't have a destructible panel on the back. So you can look at those maps and it will tell you exactly which columns you need to hit and exactly to find your technology components or your power cells or whatever you're looking for. So you can optimize this really, really well. So now that we've got the relic, we're going to head up here. Nope, there are more. I thought I saw. Yep. The sentinel wreckage stuff, you have to be pretty close to it for it to show up on your scanner in the bottom there. So if you shoot them, try and remember where you shoot them, because you have to be pretty close for the items to show up. Because here's all. Oh no, these three are in the column. Yep. So, and like I say, I'm not gonna spawn all of these. You can position your SRV so that they land right on top of you, and you'll collect them. Now let's go get our module fragment. Again, I'm just gonna approach side here. Okay, so now what do we do with that relic? Right here you see this X pattern, and if you look real close you can see there's kind of something in the middle that's in a triangle shape. Okay, now I don't know if you remember or not, but the relic, when we picked it up, is triangular in shape. And what you need to do is kind of position. You don't have to be facing any particular way. I'm going to face just this way so you can see what's going to happen. But you need to position your SRV on top of this thing. Okay. Once you're here, you need to go to your inventory and you need to jettison this relic. And if you're sitting in the right spot, this orb will appear. If you go to analysis mode, once you get close enough, you can select it and you can scan this. And it will tell you that you got a Guardian module blueprint fragment. Okay. Now it's going to spawn some sentinels way back at the back. Okay, and I think there's 4 more. Or no, there's only 2 more, it looks like. And all of the pylons are going to go back underground. Okay. It hasn't reset it. And I can possibly get my cursor back. Yep, you can see the little blue sparks coming off it when you hit it. Okay, so we'll head back down that direction. We don't need the urns. Okay, and there are those three. Here's all the components from them. There should be 6 or so laying on the ground. That's a weapon component. Yep. Okay, and now we're going to spend a couple of minutes here because this panel's on the other side, I think. Pick up these power cells, power conduits. And you have to select it to be able to pick it up with your cargo scoop. You can't just drive over it. You have to select it to pick it up, which is fairly annoying, I'm not gonna lie. Where's that last one? Did it get thrown out somewhere? Oh, I might have caught it out of midair. Okay, so let's go. There's one more pillar. We already got that one, so there's one more down here, I think. Yeah. There's a material technology component, or a Guardian technology component, which are very valuable to us. And I think this is another one. Oh, there's a power cell. But something else that we need. There's one more panel up there at the top, which is around the back side of this. So it's right here. And there's another technology component. Okay, and in the bottom, or on the left-hand side of it, you can see it tells us we have 6 of them in our inventory. We're allowed to have 100, no more than that. And if we pick this one up, on the bottom it says 3 in parentheses. It's going to give us 3. So we're now at 9. Okay. Now, what do we do now? How do we keep up this loop? Okay. Well, first, since I'm here, let's scan this one since it's right here on the way out. And like I say, I'm not getting everything here. I'm just kind of showing you a little bit about how this stuff works and how you can collect this stuff. So how do we reset it? So we do, I normally go out toward my ship, but it doesn't really matter which way you go. And I select my ship. So I can see in the bottom left over there my distance to it. And now this site is a little bumpy, so be careful while you're doing this. Don't just floor it out here. And you want to drive away, directly away from the ruin. Okay, now I was about 250 meters. My ship was parked about 250 meters away from the center of the ruins, so I'm like 650 meters out now, 700 meters out. So what you can do, and this flat spot is a good marker. So I'm somewhere around 750 meters out right now. What you can do is exit to the main menu. And if it says exit to the main menu here and it's orange, you don't have a countdown timer that says you're in danger, then you'll be able to reset it. So you exit to the main menu, come back in, and when you're farming, always do this in solo mode. You will encounter other pilots out here trying to farm these exact same things. These are very popular locations. So, and I've run into pilots out here all the time, and then even if they're friendly, which most of the time they are, you're going to be fighting with them to gather the resources that are here, and you don't want to do that. So now that you've logged out and logged back in, just make your way back. And again, just be a little careful. You don't want to flip your SRV. Okay, and then I know to my left is the altar. So to my right are the two corner pieces where I know that there are sentinels. And right here in the middle, I know that there are sentinels as well. So if we head back in here, we're going to go into combat mode. We can't activate our turret this close to our ship. So we're going to move away from our ship, and we should see sentinels spawning. See, there's the red dot. So we have successfully reset the monument. Okay, and you see my turret disappeared. That's because I'm too close to my ship.
Cargo scoop deployed.
So that's how you know that you have successfully reset the monument. Okay, and it looks like that material... Oh, that's the ancient relic right there. So we've got a destructible panel on the back side of this, but again, I don't really care. I'm looking to spawn the sentinels. Okay? And that's what you do to complete the gameplay loop. So over the next day or so, I'm going to stay out here. You can log out here all you want. Your ship will disappear. It won't stay out here. It will log off when you do, and when you appear back here, your ship will be landed right where it was. So you can stay out here and log back in however many times you want and repeat this gameplay loop until you have all 8 of the modules. And that's what I'm going to do. Off stream, I'm going to collect all 8 of the modules. I'm going to continue farming up the materials. Okay, now let's look at our materials here. And you can see this is one of the things that makes this so great. Here is that over here, you can see it turned green. We need one, we have one. We need 21 power cells, we have 15. This is linked to your game and it's live. So as you pick something up, it will, as quickly as the internet from the UK to the US goes, it will update, it will poll the game and update that number. There's a local file, a log file, that is updated as you do things in the game, and this thing is monitoring that. You can see it's watching the journal, It's watching that log file. And as the game updates it, it will reflect that here. So we can go down here and we can see, here's the epsilon data that we scanned. We actually have the module fragment there. We scroll down here, we can see we've got 15 power cells, 30 wreckage, 21 power conduits, and you can see up-to-date information on exactly what you have in your inventory at any given time. And then your wish list will have all the materials that you need in your wish list. So if I wanted to find, if I wanted for some reason, because you can't do it, once you unlock the FSD boosters, they're unlocked. But if I wanted to unlock 2 of them, it would update the materials that are required. If I wanted to unlock Guardian Hull reinforcements, it would add those materials in the list. And as I have what I need, like the Guardian Wreckage components, I know that I have it, so it turns it green. Okay, and at any time you can remove those things from your wish list. So this is what's great about it. You can make a wish list of everything that you want to unlock. You can make the trip out here, spend a few gameplay loops out here, and collect all of the materials that you need, and go back and unlock everything at once. That's what I did on my personal playthrough. I'm not going to do that here, because what I'm really anxious in doing is simply unlocking the booster. But while I'm out here at this module site, I'm going to collect all 8 of the blueprint fragments, since I'm going to need to be resetting this to get the gamma data. I haven't collected any of it, and I've got like 4 obelisks here I can scan. So while I'm collecting my modules, I'm going to be collecting these 3 things by default. Okay, and hopefully I will get what I need out of this. Actually, I don't need any of those. That's for this next thing I was unlocking. The technology components and the power cells, I'll be collecting them as I go here. So then all I have to do is go buy some shock mounts and go find a mission where I can get some focus crystals, and I'll be good. So that's kind of what we're going to see, is that I'll probably be back in the bubble next week, but when we start the live stream. I will have all the materials for the FSD booster. We'll unlock it, we'll install it, we'll purchase one, and then we'll install it. And then we will start looking at engineering our frameshift drive. But we're not going to do that until we go scouting for something else. And there's going to be a set of materials that we're going to need to unlock something first. And then we're going to go take a look at the remnants of the Thargoid War. And it's going to be really cool to see. And at the end of that, the end goal is to maximize our jump range here. And once we get that up to 70 plus light years, then it's going to make everything else we do so much easier. So on that note, I think that gets us a good place to stop this week. Again, everyone who is here, thank you very, very much for being here. I'm always very, very appreciative of my community, all of the interaction that we have during the streams, and the support that you've given me has been amazing, and I thank you all for it. Oh, sorry, I missed a comment from Sushiro here. A little bit off topic. Have you shown diverse ways to interact and play? I wanted to ask, what is your favorite way to approach and enjoy the game? Oh boy, jeez. Quickly, I'll answer that quickly before I go. I'm sorry I didn't see your comment. For me, I like having a goal and then working toward that goal, whatever it is. I have experienced almost every gameplay loop in this game in my 10 years of playing it. There are two things that I have not ever done besides the operations that are in the game. But everything else, all the way from beginning game to mid game to full end game, I have experienced. The thing that is great that I love about the game is not doing any one particular thing. What I do is, like I'm doing now, I like having a goal, which is to unlock the Guardian FSD booster, and then going through all the things I need to do it. And when I unlock it, that sense of accomplishment I get at the end of it. And that's what this game entirely is. It is an MMO RPG. It's just set in space. And it gives you a lot of those same opportunities to change your builds on your ships and do modifications and try out different things and get new weapons and new ships and new things to do, like mining and exploring and all that stuff. And I love just finding a goal and then reaching that goal. So that's my favorite way to approach the game. Don't try and find something that makes you happy and only do that, because you're going to be missing out on so much content in this game. Find something that is brand new to you. Go research a little bit online, watch some content creators. There are a lot of great content creators out there. Find out what some of those gameplay loops are about, and then go experience them for yourself. And that, I think, is really how to get the most out of the game. But again, just like I mentioned a little bit ago, just like those comments from Sashiro and Dread and M and everybody who's been here, I really enjoy all those interactions with my chat. I do apologize if I get focused on something and miss some of your comments, though. I will get to them eventually. And if you do have a question, be sure to leave it in a comment on the video, and I will absolutely answer all of those that come in. Because, as I say, without y'all's support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying, until next time, fare thee well.